So, I'm going to cover Yesterday and Today, a, which was originally released with this Butcher cover. Some people say it was because they didn't like the adulation the Beatles were getting. Some say the Beatles said it was a criticism of the Vietnam War. And some people think it was because their records had been butchered. Yesterday and Today. So this was an album that came out just before Revolver. The Capitol Records were cutting up Beatles records as they came to America. They thought that 14 songs per side was too much, and so they just rearranged things willy-nilly. And so there were a couple of songs from the Help LP that weren't on the American version. Instead, they were issued as a single, Yesterday and Today and Act Naturally, which was originally released by Buck Owens, and later Ringo covered it. Then from Rubber Soul, 4 songs were cut out, including Nowhere Man. Can't believe they would cut that out. And If I Needed Someone, another one that should have been on there. And then 3 of John's songs from from Revolver were cut out of Revolver and put out here. That's And Your Bird Can Sing, I'm Only Sleeping, and Dr. Robert. Also, there was a single, Day Tripper, and We Can Work It Out was put on here. So let's go through the tracks. So from Rubber Soul, Nowhere Man, What Goes On, Drive My Car, and If I Needed Someone are all on this record and not the original Rubber Soul. So, go through the tracks. It starts off with Drive My Car, taken from Rubber Soul. It's a duet sung by Paul and John. And then that's followed by I'm Only Sleeping. I listened to 4 different versions of I'm Only Sleeping to hear this because the American stereo version was quite a bit different than the British version. And I forgot to mention that this album I got at the local used record store is the mono version. And these songs are the kind of stuff that probably would be better here in the stereo, but the mono version is not that bad. It's pretty good. Okay, next is Nowhere Man. It's a crime that wasn't on Rubber Soul in America. And then Dr. Robert. That's John Lennon. Yeah, Nowhere Man is sung by John, so is I'm Only Sleeping, and Dr. Robert, again sung by John. Then Yesterday by Paul, and the stereo version has the strings all in one speaker, but on the recent update of the Red album, they split it so that half the quartet is one speaker and half of the other, with John in the middle instead of to one side. So it's a much better stereo version, but the mono version sounds pretty good. And finally, the side 2 ends with Act Naturally, sung by Ringo. Okay. So, let's take a look at side 2. So, side 2 starts off with And Your Bird Can Sing, which has a nice backwards guitar part in it. John was experimenting with backwards guitar at this point. And that's followed by If I Need... And Your Bird Can Sing is from Revolver. If I Need Someone is from Rubber Soul. And again, that's a crime that wasn't on Rubber Soul in America. And then We Can Work It Out, which along with Day Tripper was a single. And If I Need Someone, that's written by George and sung by George with harmony by the others too. We Can Work It Out is a Paul song. After that is What Goes On, which is sung by Ringo and is credited to Lennon, McCartney, and Starkey. That may be Ringo's first songwriting. And finally, it ends with Day Tripper, which is sung by John and Paul. Mostly Paul. So, yeah, What Goes On sung by Ringo. So it's, what can I say? You can get all of this on the either the Red Album or Revolver or Rubber Soul nowadays, but it has been issued as a CD. But the mono version of these does not sound that bad. It's pretty good, and so I recommend it. Oh, you know what? I should have sung the song title, so let me do that real quick. Drive my car, I'm only sleeping. Nowhere, man. Dr. Robert, yesterday. Act naturally. And your bird can sing. If I needed someone, we can work it out. We can work it out. What goes on? Day Tripper. Okay, sang the song titles for you. Hope you enjoyed that.